Hey, what's up? This is Abraham here. Welcome to winter and a great excuse to go and look at some new shoes to pick up, not only because of those Black Friday sales, winter sales, all that kind of thing, but because whereas in the summer you might be after high performance, breathability, nice lightweight stuff, now we're looking at water resistance, extra warmth, some chunkier silhouettes, things that are going to do you right when things start getting a little bit wetter and a bit colder. We are going to look at loads of options, more than I've done in any video to date. All of these things have different levels of price and availability, but they're all things that have come out this season. So it's all new stuff, and it's all stuff as well that I've never really mentioned or spoken about on this channel before. Since we've got so many things to cover here, I'm going to go ahead and rely on this video's paid sponsor Shop Tagger to gather everything up, or as many things as I can, up into one handy list for your browsing pleasure. As you guys know, they have been a pretty big supporter of this channel for a while, so here's how it works. It works by installing yourself a little browser extension like I'm doing right now on Google Chrome. Once that's all done and dusted, you get yourself a little clickable button, and that means when you're browsing a retailer of your choice, you have the ability to click that and save your preferred color and size to a list. You can also set it to notify you when that item comes back in stock or when the price drops to make sure you're getting some steals on some of the pricier fashion gear. These notifications can come through email or through mobile device of your choice if you've got the app installed for some easy ordering. Grouping things into different lists, as I've done with this video, also means that you can super easily keep track of everything and keep your future grails or future cops nice and organized. Another cool new feature for desktop exclusively is you can use Shop Tagger to automatically check for discounts or coupons as you check out to make sure you're getting the best deal on your favorite retailer. You never know, it might save you 20% or something, which is definitely worth having. So that's Shop Tagger. There's a link down there in the description if you want to check that out. Give it a go, see if it works for you. They are running something of a contest right now, so any active users, so anyone that installs that app basically, has a chance to win $500, which will buy yourself a couple of nice pair of sneakers, which is always worth having. Now we've got quite a lot of ground to cover, so let's go ahead and jump right in. First thing, I couldn't not mention these, the Gore-Tex Air Force 1. These come in two varieties, there's a low and a high. The low came out a couple of weeks ago, high's much more recent, but both of them bring a Gore-Tex performance and outerwear aesthetic to the classic Air Force 1. The Air Force 1 lows, pretty normal. It's mainly just the Gore-Tex branding and of course that Gore-Tex performance, giving it water resistance, but the highs for me are really where it's at because they actually change the shape of the shoe. They've got this zip on the front, so it's clearly a more technical aesthetic, and it comes in some really nice colors as well. The black, obviously the wearable one, green can be cool for some military inspired fits, but then the white ones are really interesting and a little bit different as well. So if you want to get on some Lunacore vibes, they're going to be a pretty cool option. Also to release recently was the New Balance and Snow Peak collab. Snow Peak, a Japanese brand that have been rising in the past couple of seasons with some cool outerwear performance pieces, and they've brought that to this pretty interesting outerwear focused shoe. Most distinctive part of this shoe, apart from the blue and black tones, is the fidlock buckle that's on the side. Don't know how useful that's actually going to be, but it looks pretty cool and interesting, so why not? Gore-Tex are going to feature pretty heavily in this list because they are massively expanding the number of products and brands that they're putting their name to. One of these is the Nike Zoom Pegasus 36 Trail. They retain a pretty sleek race-ready shape, but with water-resistant performance, and they've got that big Gore-Tex branding on one side, so you can flex that water resistance to everyone. If that's not your thing though, and let's face it, that massive branding is probably going to be overkill for some people, then we've got an interesting alternative. The Nike Pegasus Turbo Shield uses that same Gore-Tex technology to provide a water resistance, but there's less branding and it's a more interesting high top shape. I feel like they're an under-recognized or less known option, but for a lot of people, these are probably going to be the better purchase. Salomon have increasingly been on my radar over the past couple of seasons, and this winter they definitely have some cool options to check out. It's a technical performance brand with some genuine credentials, with actually some cool looking gear as well. So have a look at the Shelter CSWP Advance, which is a quite boot-like sneaker, very protective, going to be great in poor conditions, and the Shelter Low Advance too as well, which is a sleeker, slimmer silhouette, but still with those cool performance credentials. credentials. They specify that with the low advance, it's great for trail walking and running, specifically descents as well. They've got this descent control technology in there. So for those of you who like putting their shoes to work, the Salomon stuff is going to represent a really good option. If you're feeling fancy and after some boots, take a look at the Alyx buckle boot. They've been pretty popular this season. Unfortunately, they are pretty expensive, so maybe it's one more to keep an eye out in the sales for, but it's a clearly luxurious, very sleek, very classy look that some of you guys might be interested in. I also really like the Stone Island garment dyed boot for a more luxury sort of thing. This is based on something by DM, I think. They're the manufacturers of this, but it's got this unique garment dyed finish and Stone Island branding to the heel as well. Again, they are pretty expensive, and they look really nice as they are, but I think this is something that's going to look really cool even when they're totally thrashed. Earlier in the season, Adidas injected some Gore-Tex performance into a regular sneaker with their Adidas Stan Smith Gore-Tex Thermium Infinium. That's not actually a water-resistant finish though, but an insulating one. It's got thermium in the toe cap, so designed to keep your little tootsies warm even in the coldest of conditions. This is definitely going to be one for you guys that prefer a regular looking sneaker, but with a little extra bit of winter performance in there. Unfortunately, there's not too many Adidas options that interest me. Their Terrex line is a little bit too plain and hikery for my liking. I think the Free Hiker GTX is the most interesting of the lot, so they're worth a look if you like the sound of a performance hiking boot that's super comfy but also has some water resistance in there as well. A couple of other brands at it with the Gore-Tex collabs. You might not have seen the Asics Gel-Kayano 5 GTX. These come in some really interesting pastel colors, which is very unexpected from a performance focused Gore-Tex shoe, but that could lead to some really interesting earth tones in your outfits, or just something cool to add a pop of color. It does have quite prominent Gore-Tex branding, but that is the case with Gore-Tex branded stuff often, so they do kind of go overboard with it. And unfortunately, the biggest size this comes in is a UK 10, so too small for me. You might not associate the brand Camper with cool footwear, but don't be sleeping on them, because like quite a few different brands, they have a sub-brand called Camper Lab, which is used to bring out some more cool and interesting products that definitely break away from the dadcore stereotype of this brand. Specifically, check out the CRCLR, the circular. This is a sleek and futuristic boot that's going to look great with a pair of aggressively tapered cargos, and it's different to a lot of the other things on the market. Only maybe a brand like Salomon is coming out with something similar to this, so you're in some interesting territory here. They've also done a collection with Kostadinov, who's been making a name for himself recently, not just for the cool techwear products under his own name, but some high-profile sneaker releases and collabs with Asics as well. That stuff is worth a look too, and it'll certainly get you some underground cool kid points. There are of course loads of interesting collabs out there. One of them is Beams and Salomon coming together. This was a Japan exclusive, I believe, so not super easy to find over in these parts, but they have this really cool reversed gradient tongue on, which I think is going to look super cool in some grey, neutral heavy outfits, or even as a nice little pop of something interesting in an all black fit without being so overpowering as to do an all white sneaker. There's another more readily available Salomon collab with the French brand Satisfy. They're not quite as interesting as the Beams ones, I don't think, but they come in this really nice silvery grey colour, which again I think is going to look really nice alongside some neutral tones, or as a little bit of a pop of something interesting with an all black outfit. Satisfy are a performance focused brand with a bunch of running gear under their belt, so again this is a collaboration that has some genuine performance credentials there. You guys probably know I love my Vapormax utilities. They've shown up in a bunch of different videos and outfits on Instagram too, but there's a 2019 version and these bring some water-resistant credentials to the table. In my opinion, they do suffer as a result. I don't think they look as cool, and they're probably not going to be as comfy. I think one of the best things about the Vapormax utility, the original version, is that breathable Flyknit material that they use. So you're kind of losing something there, but if that's a style that you particularly want and you do also need that water resistance, then this is an option to look at as well. They do have some ID options as well, I think, so you can customize these to your heart's content, make something that's 100% you. Japanese designer N. Hollywood teamed up with Converse to release a Gore-Tex infused version of the Chuck Taylor sneaker. This is another one that might be a little bit tricky to find, but it's got some very clear military inspiration, super wearable as well because they're pretty much all black. They look very similar to a regular shoe, so this is another one for the regular streetwear or sneaker fans that just want to have have that hidden bit of performance in there. As I say, they might be a little bit tricky to find, but there are previous season Gore-Tex and Converse collabs as well. So have a look in the world of secondhand or on StockX or somewhere like that, and you might be able to pick up some of those older shoes as well. And for one final shoe, we've got another Nike Gore-Tex collab. This one, it's the RAMAX 720 receiving the water-resistant treatment. I think these look way nicer than the regular 720s. They had a bit of a cheap look to me, but these ones, I don't know, they just look better somehow. Maybe it's the cool colorway choice, maybe it's that little bit of extra height that they've given it, thanks to it being a Gore-Tex version. I guess they want a little bit of extra protection, but either way, these look particularly interesting to me. I think the colorway choice is really nice as well. It's going to be good for people that want a very wearable shoe that also has the ability to just inject a nice little bit of color into an outfit. That black main upper is going to go really nicely with pretty much anything. Alright, that's a lot of stuff there. Hopefully there was at least one thing there that took your fancy, but I've probably missed something because, as I say, Gore-Tex seem to be announcing new collabs left, right and center. So if there's something I've missed or something that you think is particularly cool, definitely stick it down there in the comments. Make sure your technical boys and girls out there know about that. And if you've got a particular favorite on this list as well, let me know. Something that maybe is going to carry you through winter. I think the Gore-Tex Air Force 1 highs are going to be a real treat, especially those black ones are just going to be super wearable. You can stick those on with basically anything. But I also really like the idea of some of those interesting, slightly more different shoes, like the unconventional Camper Lab choice, or the 720s with those interesting bits of colors, or even the Asics with that all-over pastel finish. Either of those can make for really cool and interesting options for techwear outfits. Again, thank you to ShopTagger for sponsoring this video. It really does help being able to buy new equipment and get new stuff in for reviews and that sort of thing. But that's everything from me. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. It is super appreciated as always. And of course, we'll be back next week with another video. Oh, one thing I didn't mention actually, there's a new ACG collection and with it a couple of new shoe options as well. They're probably a little bit too kind of retro hiker for a lot of the stuff on this channel, but it might be something that's up some of your guys' street. Right, I'm definitely going to end it there though. If you want to see some more videos, they're going to be going up there, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It's super appreciated, and you can check out new techwear content that comes out every week. We're going to be talking about shoes and jackets and a bunch of other cool stuff. You might notice Terrex Valence piece in the background. That's going to be coming up in some content soon, and I'm really excited and looking forward to doing some content on that. So yeah, we'll catch you next time.